All right, we are continuing with 7.3. Today we're doing adding and subtracting radicals. So step 1 is to simplify each radical. So each radical term. So what this means, unlike number 16 here, is we need to break down the 12. So it's 2 times 6, 2 times 3. Come on, Mr. Johnson. What's on the outside is a negative 3. It's a square root, so we're going to group the 2's. So times 2. And the square root of 3 is left over. So that becomes negative 6 square root of 3. Next one is just 3. That's not going to do anything. I can't simplify that, so that second term is going to come down, so plus 3 square root of 3. The 20 can get broke down to 2 and 10. And it's a square root, so we're looking at pairs, so that 2 is going to come out. The negative 3 is going to come down, so we're going to have negative 3 times the pair of 2's. 2 is going to come out, square root of 5. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, square root of 5. After you simplify each radical term, then you're going to look for like terms. So combine like terms is our next step. The radicals have to be the same. They have to have the same radical and radicand. What's underneath the radical. So in this case, we're looking at square root of 3, square root of 3. Those are like terms. The square root of 5 is not. So then we look at combining, and to combine, you were looking at, we have a negative 6 square roots of 3, and we add 3 of them. That's going to be a negative 3 square roots of 3. And then subtract 6 square root of 5. And there's your final answer. All right, number 17. We're looking at 75 is 5 times 15. 5 times 3. We have our square root, so grouping comes out. The 5 is going to come out. The 3 is going to stay inside. 27 can be broke down into 9 and 3, 3 and 3. So you have groups of 3 3's. It's a square root, so we only need groups of 2. So that negative 4 is going to come down. Times a 3, the group of 3. And there's going to be a square root of 3 left over. So this is going to turn into 4 times 3 is 12, square root of 3. And then lastly, we have 2 and 24, 2 and 12, 2 and 6, 2 and 3. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of 2's. Don't forget that 6 is going to come down. It's a positive 6 times group of 2, group of 2, and there's a square root of 3 left over. That's going to end up 6 times 2 times 2 is 24 square root of 3. All right, we now simplify the radicals. Now we move on to what are like terms. So I have a square root of 3, I have 5 of those. And I have another square root of 3, and I have another term with a square root of 3. Those are all like terms. Whoa. So now what you're going to do is we have 5 square roots of 3, and we're subtracting 12. So we have negative 7 square roots of 3, and we're adding 24. So that is 17 square roots of 3. And there's your final answer. Simplified pretty nicely. Number 18. We have 28 breaks down, so we're going to simplify each term. So that's 14 and 2, 7 and 2. 63 is 9 and 7, 3 and 3. And okay, now I'm going to look at each individual. So I have groups, pair of 2's. That's going to come out. 7's going to stay underneath. Let's not forget about this 2 on the next one. 2 times 3, square root of 7. 6 square root of 7. And lastly, the 7 can't get broke down, so that's going to be minus 9 square root of 7. Let's look at our like terms. We have a square root of 7. Oh, another square root of 7. And another one. Sweet. So we have 2 square roots of 7. And we're adding 6, so that's 8 square roots of 7. And we're subtracting 9. Oh, so that's a negative 1 square root of 7. Well, negative 1 times the square root of 7 is the same thing as a negative square root of 7. We don't need to write the 1 there. So there's your final answer. Thanks for watching.